I think it might be good to start with just explaining a little bit about the company. And so my experience is TrueX is sort of the platypus of advertising. It's sort of, it's neither fish nor fowl. It's kind of this hybrid of video and digital, of passive and active, for the benefit of the audience, both here and online. Can you explain the TrueX experience?
Absolutely. So I like that. We're a platypus. That's a new one for me.
It's a beautiful platypus.
I'm going to think about that further. Okay, so TrueX at its core, we are a technology company, and we're focused on building the next generation of video-based and attention-based products and solutions. At the core of the company was the sort of several principles. The first is that what actually matters most is true human attention. That's the power that advertisers are trying to tap into. That's the power of great content. That's the power of great stories. And that's the thing we should all be focused on. So how do we make the most effective and efficient use of true human attention? That's one. The second was the principle of accountability. How do we make sure that everything that we're doing, everything we build, every product that we put our name on has the highest standard of accountability? And then the third principle was, how do we make sure that everything we do is creating value for all the players in the ecosystem? So we work with major brands and advertisers. We also work with major media companies in the broadcast and cable space. And then obviously, we're trying to always think about the consumer.
So you mentioned the consumer. What happens when the consumer encounters TrueX? Do they realize that has happened to them? Do they go home and say, I had a great TrueX experience today?
We are not a consumer brand. Our goal is to build capabilities that are actually helping advertisers power experiences and media companies power experiences. So I would see us as more of an enabler versus a consumer-facing brand ourselves. The core product, the thing I think people know us best for, is the engagement ad format. Joe Marchese was out here earlier. He's the founder of the company, and I loved how he summed it up. He said an engagement is essentially a perfect impression. If you knew that not only is it human, it's viewable, it's in demo, it's in a high-quality environment, someone is definitely sitting there, someone is actually engaging with it. And so you've not only had probably the best possible experience with them, but you've had this incredibly flexible canvas to tell your story on, which is the engagement container.
So do these consumers end up seeing more ads, fewer ads? What's the...
Fewer ads, because again, if we just put something up there that's beautiful, I mean, that could be rich media. And that's really where the consumer value comes from. It's the idea that if we want to capture better quality of attention, then we need to give the consumer back something for giving us that. And so the opportunity, as it manifests in video, is to either watch the rest of the episode ad-free in exchange for engaging for 30 seconds at a minimum, or to skip the rest of a commercial pod in exchange for engaging for a minimum of 30 seconds. And 30 seconds is the minimum, and at any point the consumer is welcome to go back and have a traditional ad experience. But what we find is that not only do they want that choice, and they take it gladly, but they actually spend much more than that 30 seconds with us.
So I think one thing we've discovered just this afternoon, when you have an event during the upfront season, it tends to sort of be this gravitational force that pulls everything back to TV. You mentioned fewer ads, obviously, as we heard earlier today and over the last couple of months. NBC, Fox, FX, A&E, Turner, even Pop TV, OMD client, formerly TV Guide channel, a fan favorite, have been talking about lower commercial loads. And Linda Yaccarino has said that lower commercial loads create more value and advertisers will pay for that value. In your experience, will they pay for that value?
In our experience, they will. What I think is frustrating and hard, and that's really the challenge, not only for our company, but for all of us in this ecosystem, is that we're operating in a business that has, for many, many years, particularly if you think about the television business, transacted on a couple of very specific metrics. And as a result, we've built an entire planning system at the agencies. We've built an entire evaluation system at the clients of those agencies. And we've built an entire culture inside the media companies of focusing on a couple of numbers. We focus on the rate of change, we focus on volume, and we just want to make sure that it all fits into the spreadsheets and the dashboards that we use. So when we go to an agency and we share what TrueX is and we talk about the opportunity, and then we actually bring the measurement that we've put behind it to demonstrate the effectiveness of the format in versus letting the rest of that commercial pod play out, we get people nodding along and they're like, yep, this is exactly the kind of thing I want to buy. And then we get to let's work together. And sometimes we get a lot of hesitation there, and it's because even though it is conceptually everything that they are advocating to their clients or what their clients are asking them for. It doesn't fit into the way they're going to get judged ultimately. It doesn't fit into that spreadsheet neatly, and that's a problem.
You could almost say that TrueX is sort of the granddaddy of the reduced commercial load. So as you're seeing,
I love that everybody's now singing the same tune as us.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like, oh, look at that. That's so cute. Those big networks.
A couple years ago, what we were doing seemed bananas, and now you see every network head talking about it.
So from that perspective of the elder statespeople of I don't know why I keep doing metaphors of a lower ad load, do you look at these networks? Do you have some advice for them? Like, what would you say? Like, here's what I've learned. Don't make the same mistakes.
Well, I've only been doing this for 4 months, so hopefully I haven't made too many mistakes so far. But I have to say I'm really heartened by some of the changes that we see and some of the movement we see. I think what Fox is trying to do with the Jazz Pods, with Inaction Sixes, what NBC has done with their announcement about how they're working in their way to reduce commercial loads. This acknowledgement that we need to respect consumers, we need to respect their time, and we need to make sure that we're giving them a better experience if we want to maintain the vibrancy of the ad-supported ecosystem. And at the same time, this understanding that we actually owe back to advertisers high-quality attention. At the end of the day, connecting that mile and saying that I'm going to guarantee you an outcome, I know that was a big conversation topic today, I think that's very dangerous. But I think the idea that we owe you and that the point of all of this is to deliver the best quality human attention, I think it's so great that the networks are focusing there and innovating there. I think the thing I would say is that we all just need to move a lot faster. It's great we're talking about this now, but we need to meet each other, and actually people need to start investing here and sort of take risks and return some common sense to the industry.
Do you see any of the networks in particular taking the right risks? Who would you bet on?
I mean, that's a tough one. We work with everybody, but we do have a parent company in Fox. So I'm cheering for all of them, though, because at the end of the day, the vibrancy of the ecosystem is not about the success of one, it's the success of all of the broadcast and cable networks. And so that's where we're hoping that our technology, our philosophy, and the way that we're working and trying to capture that attention and the technology solutions we're building can help.
So you mentioned it's been 4 months or nearly. And it was notable when you came to TrueX, you came from the broadcast side, Viacom and then ABC for years. Do you bring a different sort of client/broadcast perspective to TrueX for the 5 years of the Marchese era?
I will never be Joe Marchese. There's only one. But I think what I do bring is a real appreciation for what TrueX does. The way I got familiar with the product is that we were a really early customer of theirs at ABC. Pre-acquisition, they came in and pitched us, and we were like, this is a really interesting concept. These guys are talking about things that have occurred to all of us. They seem to have a solution that makes a lot of sense. We should try this. And what I got to see was the incredible results that working with TrueX had for our business. I got to see the results we could deliver back to advertisers, and I got to see the actual results that we saw in terms of how it was impacting how our product was being perceived in the marketplace. We got great consumer feedback on the experience itself. We saw the take rate. Once people understood this choice they were being given and they felt empowered by that choice, they took it. And the next time they saw it, they definitely took it. We saw that it had only positive impact on our view-through rates. So it was a win-win-win. And that was one of the things that made me a believer early on. I think one of the other things that I do bring to the role is a real appreciation and a passion for the long-form video and the ad-supported marketplace in general. I want to see this thrive. I've been part of it for years. I think there's tremendous value in it. I believe in advertising. I think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. I just think we can make it better.
I think we're allowed to say that without like a lightning bolt striking the stage, right? And so I guess finally, in a little less than a couple of weeks, you'll be off, and many people in this room will be off to Cannes. Do you have anything exciting to announce that you can give us a sneak peek on?
We have a lot of exciting things to talk about. I don't think we have anything that we're ready to announce right here today, but I would tell you that some of the things that hopefully you'll be seeing news from us on coming up. We're very excited about the connected TV space and what that holds for the future. We think it's an incredibly vibrant viewing environment. We also think that it's an incredibly important environment in terms of where viewership is growing. And just, if you think about that canvas and the fact that you got 4K screens, you got a gyroscope in your hand, essentially, with your remote, you have surround sound, you're probably co-viewing. we think there's just a lot more we can do there that's really interesting. So that's something that I think news will be coming on. And then another thing that we're really focused on in terms of viewing environments is live. Right now, a lot of digitally delivered live streams have an ad experience that looks just like the one you get in linear TV, and we think we can do better. So stay tuned.
All right, gyroscope in your hand. Well, on behalf of everyone whose child's tuition is paid for by advertising, you're doing God's work. Thank you very much, Pooja.
Thank you very much.